Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com in the fourth week of June 2026. I'm your host, Linnea Crowther. I'm the news editor at Legacy.com, where you can read full obituaries for most of the people featured in this video and leave your own condolences on their Legacy page. Record executive Clive Davis died June 22, 2026 at his home in New York City at the age of 94. The one-time president of Columbia Records and the founder and longtime president of Arista Records, he had a profound impact on popular music, helping launch the careers of artists like Whitney Houston, Bruce Springsteen, Earth, Wind & Fire, and many more. Davis is being remembered as a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for his decades-long influence on the genre. Economist Alan Greenspan died June 22, 2026 of complications from Parkinson's disease at the age of 100. He was chair of the Federal Reserve for nearly 20 years, serving under 4 presidents from Ronald Reagan to George W. Bush. Greenspan is being remembered for his profound influence on the U.S. economy as he navigated financial bubbles and crises. Author and blogger Jill Smokler died June 22, 2026 of glioblastoma at the age of 48. She founded the Scary Mommy blog, sharing the ups and downs of parenthood and building a community where other moms could share their joys and frustrations. Smokler is also being remembered for writing best-selling books like Confessions of a Scary Mommy. Singer and songwriter David Clayton-Thomas died June 24, 2026 at a hospital in Toronto at the age of 84. He was the lead singer for Blood, Sweat and Tears, known for jazz rock hits like Spinning Wheel, And When I Die, and You've Made Me So Very Happy. Clayton-Thomas is being remembered for his powerful voice and his onstage charisma. Football player Steve Zabel died in June 2026 at the age of 78. He was a linebacker and tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots, and Baltimore Colts in the 1970s. Zabel is also being remembered for his All-American college career at the University of Oklahoma. Singer Beau Williams died June 17, 2026 of cancer at the age of 76. He was a gospel singer known for songs like There's Just Something About You and You Are the One, and for his Dove Award-winning album Wonderful. Williams is being remembered as a Star Search champion who also appeared on BET, TVN, and more. TV director James Burrows died June 19, 2026 at the age of 85. He directed beloved sitcoms like Frasier, Friends, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Taxi, Laverne and Shirley, and many more. Burrows is being remembered for co-creating the classic sitcom Cheers, as well as directing hundreds of the show's episodes. Two of the most famous women of the 1980s who died tragically young would have celebrated landmark birthdays this week. But before we mark those anniversaries, I want to share 3 remarkable life stories I read at Legacy.com this week. Not famous people, but everyday people whose families honored them for accomplishing some really meaningful things. You've never heard of Norman Cantor, an advertising creative director from Chicago, but he's the person who came up with the name for one of Oscar Mayer's most successful products, Lunchables. Susan Brown from Colorado dedicated her life to helping deaf students learn. She founded the National Association of Interpreters in Education, and in 2025, the state of Colorado honored her for her outstanding service. And Ronald Kidd from Nashville wrote 14 books for young readers ranging from mystery to comedy to history. His novels were honored by the American Library Association, and he also worked at Walt Disney Records and the United Methodist Publishing House. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 5 years ago this week, actor Stuart Damon died at the age of 84. He starred on General Hospital for decades as Dr. Alan Quatermain, and he played the prince in the popular 1965 TV adaptation of Cinderella. 10 years ago this week, actress Noelle Neal died at the age of 95. In 1948, she became the first person to play Lois Lane on the big screen, co-starring in a series of Superman shorts. 25 years ago this week, actor Jack Lemmon died at the age of 76. He was a widely acclaimed Hollywood star whose memorable movies include Some Like It Hot, Days of Wine and Roses, and The Odd Couple. 35 years ago this week, actor Michael Landon died at the age of 54. He was a TV star for decades, remembered for his starring roles in Bonanza, Little House on the Prairie, and Highway to Heaven. 55 years ago this week, singer and songwriter Jim Morrison died at the age of 27. He was the highly influential frontman for The Doors, beloved for his rebellious charisma and for songs like Light My Fire and Hello, I Love You. Diana, Princess of Wales, was born 65 years ago this week. She died in August 1997 at the age of 36. A beloved member of the British royal family, she was known for her activism on behalf of such causes as AIDS awareness and removal of landmines. Comedian and actress Gilda Radner was born 80 years ago this week. She died in May 1989 at the age of 42. One of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live, she always made us laugh with hilarious characters like Roseanne Roseannadanna and Emily Latella. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Arizona have been lowered to honor the memory of retired Major General David P. Radizak, who served as Arizona Adjutant General and Director of the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs. Flags in Iowa have been lowered to honor the memory of State Senator Julian Garrett. Flags in Michigan have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Senator Robert Geek. Flags in Wyoming have been lowered to honor the memory of Taley Page Dresser and Gregory Trosper Jr. Flags in Alaska have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Representative Susan Sullivan. Flags in Maine have been lowered to honor the memory of Searsmont Assistant Fire Chief Wayne Woodbury, who died of injuries sustained in the line of duty. Flags in Alabama have been lowered to honor the memory of former State Representative James Thomas Cullens, Jr. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. Follow Legacy.com on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.